Alright, 4.3 practice B. Decide whether the congruence statement is true. So we have triangle ABD congruent to CDB, it says. So AB has the two markings, CD, so far so good. BD is this line, that's the same as DB, that's the reflexive property. So this third side is the same because it's in both triangles. And then lastly would be AD and CB, that is also congruent. So yes, and your reason would be side, side, side. Triangle RST congruent to RQT. So we have RS, which has the two markings, and RQ. We have ST and TQ. And finally, you have RT and RT. It's congruent to itself because of the reflexive property again. So this would be yes and side, side, side. ABC congruent to DEF. AB has the three markings. DE has the three markings. BC has two markings. EF has two markings. And then AC and FD. Yes, and side, side, side. Number 4, determine if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So from A to B, if you use a distance formula, I'll write it all out for the first time. So it's 1 minus 4 squared plus 2 plus, because it's minus a negative 3 squared. Gives you negative 3 squared, which is 9, plus 5 squared, which is 25. So square root of 34. So AB is the square root of 34. Now let's check to see if DE is the same thing. Should be 4 minus 7, so that's negative 3 squared, which is 9. Don't need that squared. It's 9 plus, and 7 minus 2 is 5 squared, which is 25. 9 plus 25 gives you DE is the square root of 34. It's exactly the same so far. Now let's check BC. We're obviously going to need to be doing these on a different sheet of paper. 4 minus 2 is 2 squared, that's 4, plus negative 3 minus 5 is 8 squared, that's 64. So this is going to give you the square root of 68 for BC. Let's check to see if EF is the same thing. 2 squared and 8 squared. So it's going to be 4 plus 64, so it's the square root of 68 also. Lastly, we have to check AC. So 1 minus 2, it's going to be negative 1 squared, which is 1. 2 minus 5, negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. So it gives you the square root of 10 for AC. We need to come up with the same thing here. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. And 7 minus 10 is negative 3. So negative 1 squared is 1. Plus 3 squared is 9. So 1 plus 9 is 10. So you get the square root of 10. So basically, all that tells us is that number 4 is yes. Number 5. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. Now I'm going to give you a little shortcut here. If this is a negative 3 or positive 3 and 1 again, then it's going to be the same size. DE, that's 2 and 1. It's not 3 and 1. It's 2 and 1. So it's a no. Thought it was at least no on the first part of it. Didn't have to wait till the third side. Number 6. Difference here is 3. Negative 2 minus 1. Also 3. What's a negative 3? Check the DE. Difference here, 7 minus 10 is negative 3. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. Let's see how it's negative 3 and negative 3. Remember that you would be squaring them in the formula, so it would end up being the exact same thing. So as long as the numbers are the same. Don't have to really worry about the signs. So it'll be 3 and 3, and 3 and 3. So far, so good. Let's check BC and DE. BC is 1, and 1 minus 8 is negative 7. And EF is 1. 8 minus 13 is negative 5. Different numbers, so it's a no. Here we have negative 3 minus 6, that would be negative 9. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Checking DE. 4 minus 13 is negative 9. Negative 10 minus negative 8 is negative 2. Good so far. I'll check BC and EF. 6 minus negative 1 is 7. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. 13 minus 6 is 7. Negative 8 minus negative 1 is negative 7. Numbers all line up. Now you have to check AC and DF. AC, negative 3 minus negative 1. That gives you negative 2. 0 minus 9 is negative 9. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Negative 10 minus negative 1 is negative 9. End up with the same numbers, so that would be a yes. Alright, those are the hardest ones. Determine whether the figure is stable. It has a diagonal with 2 congruent triangles. That would be yes. Look at this one. Has a triangle, but it's trying to mess you up. It's not cut. If this was cut down the center, then it would be yes. That's a no. This one does have 2 congruent triangles in it. And also, if you cut this one in half, that will make it even more. This one you could go either way. I would go with no, unless they actually cut this in half and made it all congruent triangles. Alright, triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Say whether they're congruent. A to B is 10, D to E is 10. A to C is 8, D to F is 8. And they share this portion, and there's a 2 on the outside of both of them, so that would be yes. And by side, side, side. That's your reason. Number 12. 7, 7, 5, 5. That's a 2 and a 1. So this distance in the middle is the same, but we're adding 2 on to get from C to B, and you're adding 1 on to get from F to E. So that would be now. Okay, complete the proof. How do you know AB is congruent to CD? Remember, it's given to you. And how do you know BC is congruent to AD? Also given to you. And for step 3, we have AC is congruent to AC. How do you know something is congruent to itself? That would be reflexive. Now we know all 3 sides are congruent to each other, so it's side, side, side. How do you know AB is congruent to CB? AB is congruent to CB is given to you. What a struggle. How do you know D is the midpoint of AC? Also given. So there's 2 easy points. Now, seeing as how all we've learned so far is side, 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 on your quiz I would say for step 5 you would automatically make that assumption. Now if you don't know anything else about these 2, you already know that much. So that would be like a 60% right off the bat. AD is congruent to CD. That's the definition of midpoint. D is the midpoint, it's in the middle, which makes these 2 congruent segments. Then BD is congruent to BD. That's reflexive. And the 2 triangles are congruent by side, side, side. Facts are shown below. Which picture frame is stable? You should know these by now. This one is 2 congruent triangles. Okay, that's it.